in my Start Riding Mountain Bike series. In this video I'm going to go over 5 beginner mistakes and how you should avoid them. Let's get going. A common misconception when you're just starting out is to be afraid of the front brake. So what you'll often notice is a lot of beginner mountain bike riders will drag the rear brake down in descent and very rarely touch the front brake. Now the good thing about a modern brake is it's so modular, you can control the power really easily. So if you do, it's not going to be an instant you're going to touch the front brake and you're going to go straight over the bars. So what you need to do to learn how to use the front brake and the back brake is you normally need to use more front brake than back brake, and what you'll find that you're a lot more controlled on descents and going around corners if you're using both brakes to stop, because you can slow down both wheels instead of locking up just the back one. So instead of losing control at the back end of the bike, you're going to have control at both ends of the bike, and that's going to make you a more skillful rider. When riding steep rocky descents like this, if you just use the back brake, you're going to have a horrible time. As you can see here, I'm using both the front brake and the back brake to control my speed on this descent. You'll often find that riders who are just starting have a tendency to look directly in front of their front wheel, which means that you can't see what's coming up on the trail, you can't think ahead. So what you need to do is you need to make sure that you look at least 3-4 metres in front of your front wheel, and then that way you're going to see any features coming up and think about your line choice and what you're going to do before you even get to the feature. So that's going to open it up, it's going to make the riding feel slower, but it's going to make it feel a lot more controlled, and it's going to allow you to progress your riding faster.
As you can tell from this clip, if you look ahead, you will go significantly quicker than if you're looking down at your front wheel. So in this first video here, I'm riding along looking down at the ground directly in my front wheel. In this clip here, I'm looking ahead a bit more so I can see what's coming up. This even allows me to execute a bunny hop over the last obstacle. Make sure you drop the saddle. In this first clip, I have the saddle up, and as you can see, I can't move my weight very far back off the end of the bike. In this next clip, I have my saddle down and I can move my weight around more and thus descend faster. Here, my saddle's up, and as you can see, I knock myself on it a few times and I can't descend very quickly. In this same clip, with the saddle down, I can move my weight further back and descend faster.
If you guys have found any of these tips useful, then make sure you go leave a comment and tell me which one you find most useful. And if you have any tips for any beginners yourself, leave them down in the comments down below. If you want to subscribe, I'm now producing daily content to keep you occupied during lockdown. But enough of me, let's go on to the next tip. This is a mistake everyone's made. Over-tightening bolts. It actually takes surprisingly little force to make something like a stem clamp. So it's always worth adhering to the manufacturer's torque ratings, which are often written on the bolts themselves. If you do up your dropper seat post clamp too tight, it will compress the outer tube and it will mean that it won't return when you press the button. So always make sure you adhere to torque ratings. This is especially important on other parts of the bike if it's carbon fibre, because carbon fibre is really easy to over torque. Maintenance. This is something that a lot of people forget to do, but it is so vital to keeping your bike running smoothly and saving you money. You need to make sure that things like your drivetrain, your suspension, it's all clean. Clean bike is going to last longer, it's going to be more fun to ride, and it's going to look better in photos as well. Other things that you need to make sure you keep on top of, things like gear cables, they can stretch, and they do stretch. So when they do stretch, you need to adjust them, whether that's doing it yourself or taking it to a bike shop to get it sorted. It's always worth keeping a check on bolts as well. So things like crank bolts, pedal bolts, they always need checking as well. So the other thing that you should often check is brake pads. So if you feel like, oh, my brakes aren't really working properly, or they're not quite as sharp as they normally are, just take the wheel out and have a little look at how much pad material you've got left of the brake pad, and if you haven't got much left, it's probably time for you to change them up. Oh no! Oh, I've got a puncture! Oh no. Hey, have you got a tube? Have you got a tube? If you want to avoid the walk of shame, which is where you're walking with a puncture, make sure you're always carrying a tube with you. Anyway guys, thank you very much for watching. If you want to see what I take in my bag, so you don't forget any of your tools or essentials, click up in the top corner over here. And if you want to watch the next video, which will be out tomorrow, make sure you smash that subscribe button down below and give me a great big thumbs up. See you in the next video.